For 3 years running now, or this will be the 3rd year, I have filmed this video, and every year I have so much fun. I'm going to be going to Oxford today to do some horror book shopping, which is my favourite kind of shopping to do. I love horror as a genre. It's been a genre that I've been getting much more into in the last few years, searching for a book that is going to make me feel the fear. I love gothic horror and always have loved gothic horror, but expanding that into general horror as well has been a really exciting journey over the last few years to grow my collection, to read more, to get more recommendations, and today I'm going to be expanding my collection even more by hauling some books from my Oxford shopping trip. I'm going in with low expectations of what I'm going to be finding. Like, I don't really have specific ones in mind apart from 3 books. I asked on Instagram for some recommendations of books that people really did find scary, and I got 3 recommendations sent through to me, so those 3 are definitely going to be ones I'm looking for today, but other than that, I just want to see what's out there. So first up is Say Her Name by Juno Dawson, which I think centres around the legend of the Bloody Mary story, where if you say Bloody Mary, a certain amount of times in the mirror, the ghost of Bloody Mary will appear. Then I've got James Herbert, The Secret of Crickle Hall, which is, I think, your typical haunted house story. This one's a little chunkier, but I haven't read any James Herbert, and this one came highly recommended. And The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher. T. Kingfisher is an author I've seen all over the place at the moment, so I would like to read some of their writing. This one is set in a wonder museum, which is filled with taxidermy pieces, and is following our main character, Carrot, which is the best name, who has gone to do some work. I think one of her relatives or somebody works in this place and she's gone to help them out, and there's some kind of creepy thing happening. There's something like alive within the taxidermy exhibit. I don't really know, but it sounds good. They all sound the creepiest of the recommendations that I received. A lot of the recommendations I received I already own or might have read already, so I'm excited. I'm excited to grow my ever-growing horror TBR. My shelves are behind me there, and I don't really know how I've got any more room to fit any more books on them, so that'll be this evening's Beth's problem. So the plan is to leave shortly, head to Oxford. I want to do a little bit of general clothes shopping as well. I've also got an optician's appointment whilst I'm there, and I'm going to be browsing all the bookshops. The reason that I pick Oxford to do this video is kind of twofold. One, I feel like Oxford just has the beautiful, brilliant atmosphere that fits this kind of video vibe that I'm after, and 2, there are 2 big bookshops in Oxford that have separate sections for their horror books, and around me there aren't many bookshops that do that, so it just makes this video a lot easier, and those 2 bookshops would be Waterstones and Blackwell's. So that just helps a lot, and I've just done it for the past 2 years. I feel like it's become a tradition, so that is why we're going to Oxford. I am bringing a book with me to read as well. It's literally nothing related to this video. It's not a horror at all. It's Days at the Murasaki Bookshop by Satoshi Yagasawa. This is actually our Patreon book club pick for September and October, and I would like to try and finish it before the end of September if I can. We have 4 more days until October kicks in. I'm so excited for spooky season. I'm so excited to read all the horror, but I do want to try and read this one before the end of the month if I can. I haven't yet started it, so I'm going to be bringing this one with me just in case I have a little bit of time, maybe whilst I sit and have some lunch or I'm waiting for my optician's appointment or something. So I'm really excited for this video, as you can probably tell. If I have time later, I'm going to potentially on the way home head to TK Maxx, which has such a good homeware section for autumnal spooky vibes. I often don't decorate for this season too much because I just don't have the storage in my flat to be able to keep anything once the season ends. Anything I do have around my home that's autumnal just stays out all year round. I have these little felt leaves on my bookshelves. I recently got this little guy who is gonna definitely stay about all year round. Despite the storage issue, I do want more autumnal things around my home. I would love to find a pumpkin cushion. I know that Asda has a load, but I don't have an Asda in my town, so I'm gonna have a look in TK Maxx and just see what's out there. But before we do any of that, before we head to Oxford, I want to tell you about today's video's sponsor. The sponsor for today's video is Your Paper Quest, who are a UK-based self-published monthly book subscription. Your Paper Quest features 2 self-published books a month, which works out as around 500 pages of content, and every month they try to vary their themes and genres. I have the October books sent through to me, and they are perfect for this video because they are the creepy horror vibes that I'm after for this coming month. Your Paper Quest's goal is to find stories that readers love regardless of genre and themes, which I just love. I love it when companies are just about an enjoyment and a love and a passion for reading. The subscription also includes other bookish items such as bookmarks and notes from the author, and monthly interviews with the author for a more personal experience. And there's also an invitation to join their book club where you can meet other subscribers and ask questions for the authors. So the books that I've been sent out for the October subscription are horror themed. We have got 2 books here. We have got Orchid of Skeletons by Ellie Wilde, and we've also got Necrotown Town Mountain City Chronicles by Alexander Nader. I'm going to tell you what these two are about by reading the summary card that Your Paper Quest has sent over to me, which is really handy because it just tells you a little bit about the theme and the thought behind the books. So the first book is Necro Town by Alexander Nader. This is a grimy noir aesthetics with an immortal detective set in a very urban fantasy world with werewolves, trolls, necromancers, vampires, gargoyles, and more. It's a spin on the classic detective tale, a missing girl, a cult, and one of our favourite couples we've read of late. The second book is Orchid of Skeletons by Ellie Wilde. This one gets dark, sharing DNA with fiction such as The Road, Children of Men, and Blade Runner. Relentlessly grim, Orchid of Skeletons is hospitably bleak, but raises itself up on its characters and their relationships, particularly between Isaac and Macy, and that's what kept us glued to the page. It says these two stories prove that love conquers all, even in the worst of places, and the theme at the top says love against all odds. I love the fact that we get a little insight into why these books were picked, and also at the bottom of this little sheet we've got a section that says that you can ask and submit questions to the authors using the QR code below to ask anything about your reading experience, which I just think is really great. I think it offers that personal experience that you get with self-published books. So these are the two books for October for Your Paper Quest. If you are interested in finding out anything more about Your Paper Quest, you can find everything you need linked down below. Thank you so much, Your Paper Quest, for sponsoring this video. Okay, let's head to Oxford and try and find some scary books. Okay, I got back from Oxford yesterday so much later than I thought I would because I just couldn't stop. I spent so many hours in these bookshops chatting to the booksellers, browsing the books, and then just going in other shops as well. I bought a fairly decent amount of books, and I bought some candles, and I got my glasses. So I'm going to show you my glasses. We're going to start with my glasses. I've had my old glasses for about 2.5 years now, and I really liked them when I got them, but I think progressively I've realised that they didn't really suit me as much as I was hoping, and also there was something a little bit off with the prescription and I wasn't really getting on well with them, so I wasn't really wearing them, but I've got new glasses. I go to Ace and Tate for my glasses appointments, which is in Oxford. It's a little bit further to go for the opticians, but it's not too far. Oxford is fairly close to me, but I think they're so much better. I have a birthmark on the back of my eye that has been there all my life, and no one told me about it until Ace and Tate, and that is something that needs to be monitored, so I definitely recommend them. This isn't an ad for Haste and Tate, I just really like them. Anyway, I have no idea what these frames are called. I should find that out. Hang on, where's my phone? Okay, these are called Morris Large in Olive Gradient. I never actually tried on Morris Small, but I think I prefer the larger frames anyway. I really need to clean them. But these are my new glasses. I'm trying to get used to them. I have not had these kind of glasses for a very long time. I nearly went for clear rimmed frames, but I think that these are more me. I really like them. It doesn't look as good on camera, I think, as I feel like it looks in real life, but the light bouncing off and stuff is great. But I really like them. They've got a kind of green top frame and then it goes into like an olivey brown on the bottom, which suits most of the colours I wear. I think it suits my hair colour, and they're just a bit different from what I had before. I have always, from Ace and Tate, had the little bobbly bits on my nose and the wired frames, and generally with my glasses, that's the kind of glasses I have gone for because I've just found them to be more comfortable. I have not had non-bobbly bits for a long time, so I'm intrigued to see how I'm going to find this, because normally I feel like I'm much more aware of my glasses without like having the bobbly bit to pull them off my nose a little bit. So we'll see how I get on, but these are my new glasses. I'm going to take them off for filming this because the light is reflecting in them, but I really like them. I'm really pleased with them. So glasses haul. Okay, let's go on to books because there's quite a few. Shocker, I bought some books. I bought quite a few books. I have no idea how many is in here. This is spread across 3 bookshops worth. I went into WATERSTONES first, then I went into the Blackwell's that specialises in sci-fi, fantasy and horror, and then I went into the main Blackwell's, which is just across the road. So I got quite a few. I got some of the ones that I set out to buy. Some of them were completely random books I'd never heard of and just got intrigued by, and some of them were recommended by booksellers. So let's take a look. Oh, there's so many. Okay, I'm gonna get them all out first. I think that's more productive. The first book I picked up is a Stephen King. This is Stephen King's latest book, Holly. I do believe this follows a character from a previous King novel. Now, I haven't read whatever that novel is, nor do I know what it is. I need to look into that, but I'm pretty sure that this can be read separately from what I've seen. I went in wanting to pick this one up. I just forgot to say that this was one of the ones I wanted to pick up at the start of this video, and it had £3 off, so happy days. But the start of the blurb does say it's following Holly Gibney, who is one of Stephen King's most compelling and ingeniously resourceful characters, returns to investigate the gruesome truths behind multiple disappearances in a Midwestern town. In this thrilling novel, Holly is on her own and up against a pair of unimaginably depraved and brilliantly disguised adversaries. I was unsure as to whether this looked more like a thriller than a horror, but there's a couple of things within the blurb that lead me towards the horror / thriller genre, like a combination, I suppose. Especially the fact that this couple that Holly is looking into have some unholy secrets in their basement, which I find interesting. I want to know what those are. I feel like this is going to be quite suspenseful and intense. That's what the vibe I'm getting from this, but I'm looking forward to reading this. I read Fairy Tale last year by Stephen King, which is another one of Stephen King's latest books, so I'm looking forward to this one. Then another new release, I picked up The Sundown Motel by Simone St. James. This one grabbed my attention at the till. I got sucked in a couple of times when I thought I was done shopping in all of these bookshops, and then I saw more and I picked up more. I've never heard of this one before. Immediately the cover is giving me Psycho Bates Motel type of vibes, but I thought it sounded really interesting. The top tagline says something hasn't been right at the Sundown Motel for a very long time and Carly Kirk is about to find out why. Also partially got excited because Kirk is my family name, like back a little bit, and I love that name so much. So the fact that the main character has Kirk as their last name, yes. So it's initially set in 1982, where we're following a character who wants to move to New York City, and to help pay for it she takes a job as a night clerk at the Sundown Motel in a small town of Fell. But she feels that something is wrong, something disturbing and haunting, and then she vanishes. And then we go 35 years later, where Carly Kirk has never been able to let go of the story of her Aunt Viv. She decides to move to Fell and take a job at the hotel as a night clerk to try and get to the bottom of the mystery. But Carly soon uncovers that before she vanishes, Viv believed she was on the trail of something truly sinister. And if Carly can't work out the truth soon, she's in line to be the next victim. I love the reviews for this one as well. It says spooky, unsettling and brilliantly written. It will hook you early and never let you go. And then no one writes a ghost story like Simone St. James. I love seeing reviews from people rather than newspapers on the back of books. It just makes me even more encouraged and excited with what they're saying. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I think this one was a WaterStones buy, so both WaterStones buys at the moment. Then another WaterStones buy is All Hallows by Christopher Golden. This one The cover drew me in for this one because it's definitely giving off all the spooky vibes. The review on the front from Stephen King hooked me even more, which is tightly wound, atmospheric, and creepy as hell. I loved it. I think if Stephen King says something is creepy as hell, you've got to think that it must be creepy as hell. So, the blurb for this. This just sounds exactly what I want to be reading over the actual Halloween weekend. It's Halloween night, 1984, in Coventry, Massachusetts, and two families are unravelling. The Barbosas have opened their annual Haunted Woods attraction in the forest behind the house they're about to lose. The Sweeneys are fighting about alcoholism and infidelity on their front lawn. Up the street, a high school senior is about to have her secrets exposed, while down the street, the truth about Ruth and Zach Burgess turns out to be even more horrifying than the rumours ever were. And all the while, four children who do not belong are walking door to door. Children in vintage costumes with faded, eerie makeup. Children who seem terrified and who beg the neighbourhood kids to hide them away, to keep them safe from the cunning man. But with families falling apart and the community splintered by bitterness, who will save the children of Paminter Road? All Hallows, the one night when everything is a mask. The reviews on the back of this got me as well because it says straight up classic feeling old school horror. Twists and turns in the haunted woods until all your Halloween dreams and nightmares are made real. I have to read this around the Halloween weekend. I am actually going to be doing a Patreon readathon for 5 days around Halloween. If you do want to take part in that, it is available to all tiers. We're going to be live. Actually, it's for 7 days. It's not for 5 days. It's for 7 days. I'm going to be live 6 out of those 7 days doing sprints for all tiers of my Patreon. So from £1. I'll leave a link down below, but I think this is one of the books that I might read over those 7 days because this is exactly the kind of book I wanted to find, so I'm really excited about this one. I did actually also buy the picture of Dorian Gray, but I had in the back of my head that I might already have it, and I wasn't 100% because I got the Penguin edition, the paperbacks, that I've got a stack of those in my bedroom that I'm collecting, and I couldn't remember if I had it or not, and it turned out I did, so I'm going to return that one. So I did get that, but I have too many books. There's no such thing, actually. I don't have too many books. There's no such thing as too many books. I just temporarily forgot one of them. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, we move on to Blackwell's, specifically the Blackwell's that has the amazing horror section. So this is the one that has the fantasy, sci-fi, and horror. I love the fact that it has this huge dedicated section. The booksellers are so knowledgeable, and I got quite a few recommendations, but also I just kept pulling them off the shelves. So the first book that I bought, I'm now really confused because I got The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher, which is the book that I was telling you about yesterday with a main character called Carrot. The main character in this is called Kara, and what? The blurb says, pray that they are hungry. Kara finds the words in a mysterious bunker that she's discovered behind a hole in the wall of her uncle's house. Freshly divorced and living back at home, Kara now becomes obsessed with these cryptic words and starts exploring the peculiar area, only to discover that it holds portals to countless alternative realities. But these places are haunted by creatures that seem to hear thoughts, and the more one fears them, the stronger they become. This is not the same book. Hang on, I'm so confused. I was reading blurbs off of Amazon for the books that I was talking to you about yesterday. This is not the blurb I read out yesterday for The Hollow Places, but that is the book I'd added to my wish list. This is a different blurb. What? I mean, either way, I'm good with that. But I would like to know what I thought I was going to be picking up because I would like to read that. Where's Carrot? I am so confused as to what's happened there. Okay, clearly Amazon has the wrong blurb against that book, and I didn't read the blurb when I picked that up. I'm okay with that because this still sounds like a good book, but that was really confusing, so thank you Amazon for that. But I picked up The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher, which is a totally different book to what I thought. However, it still sounds good. Also, you can see why I might think it was the description of the book that I was talking about before, because there is the kind of the dome with the butterflies and the skull. It kind of played into the blurb of the other one. Well, I'm going to have to look into that, but I'm still looking forward to reading this one. I did also buy another T. Kingfisher, actually. I got the Twisted ones. This is when we discover this is about Carrot instead. No, this isn't. This one I read the blurb for. I'm clearly just hoping I like T. Kingfisher's writing. To be honest, was swaying between getting this one or not getting it, and the little terrifying icon picture thing on the front swayed me to yes, because that I dislike deeply. Don't like elongated limbs, and just, that's freaky. So I'm hoping that means it'll scare me. Let's have a look at the blurb. When Mouse's dad asks her to clean out her dead grandmother's house, she says yes. After all, how bad could it be? Answer, pretty bad. Grandma was a hoarder and her house is stuffed with useless rubbish. That would be horrific enough, but there's more. Mouse stumbles across her step-grandfather's journal, which at first seems to be filled with nonsensical rants until Mouse encounters some of the terrifying things he describes for herself. Alone in the woods with her dog, Mouse finds herself face to face with a series of impossible terrors, because sometimes the things that go bump in the night are real and they're looking for you, and if she doesn't face them head on, she might not survive to tell the tale. This sounds really good as well. I just feel so creepy. Okay, away from the T. Kingfisher confusion, please, if you know what book that is meant to be, please let me know, because I want to read the one with Carrot as well. I want to get that. I wasn't able to find the Juno Dawson book that I've completely forgotten the name of. Was it called Say Her Name? Yeah, Say Her Name. One of the booksellers in Blackwell has checked for me and they said that it's actually just generally not available at the moment, so I'm going to have a look on World of Books for that one. But the other ones I got, I also picked up another one that I set out to get. This is incredibly shiny. Hate the cover of this, but also like the fact that it's an old school style cover and I feel like I can rough the book up a little bit. But this is James Herbert's The Secret of Crickle Hall. I did briefly talk about this one yesterday, but it's a haunted house style story. Apparently it's a very disturbing read. 2 pages in, the reader is hooked and Herbert has done his job. The horror, the horror. That's a review from The Guardian. The blurb says, would you stay in a haunted house for more than one night? Would you live in a place where ghostly things keep happening? Where a cellar door you know you locked the night before is always open the following morning? Where hushed whimpering is heard? Where white shadows steal through the darkness? Where the presence of evil is all around you? Would you? Should you? The Callegues did, and they had their reasons. They should have known better though. As the terror mounts, they begin to regret their decision. As the horror rises, they realise their very lives are at risk, and so is their sanity, for the secret of Crickle Hall is beyond all nightmares. This sounds pretty creepy. It sounds like it's got all those haunted house tropes, so another one I'm really looking forward to. Only got a few left. I then picked up HeartShaped Box by Joe Hill. This one was recommended to me by one of the booksellers, saying that it was one of the best horrors they'd read, so I gotta pick it up. When Judas Coyne heard someone was selling a ghost on the internet, there was no question. It was perfect for his collection of the macabre. The Cannibal's Cookbook, The Witch's Confession, the authentic snuff movie. As an aging death metal rock god, buying a poltergeist almost qualifies as a business expense. But this ghost delivered to his doorstep in a black heart-shaped box is different. It makes the house feel cold. It makes the dogs bark. And it means to chase Jude from his home and make him run for his life. Neil Gaiman says, I loved it unreservedly, which I think also swayed me. Authors I trust reviewing books that I want to read, it wins me in even more. So this is another one of the books I picked up. And then off the shelves I saw this. The cover immediately drew me in. The name, Wonderland. I was wondering if it was an Alice in Wonderland horror retelling. This is by Zoji Stage. I'm honestly not sure if it's an Alice in Wonderland retelling, because there is an element of underground stuff happening, and I link that with the rabbit hole. I think it probably isn't, and it's just got Wonderland in the name. But the blurb. After years of city life, Orla and Shaw Bennett are ready for the quiet of New York's Adirondack Mountains, or at least they think they are. Settling into the perfect farmhouse with their 2 children, the family is both charmed and unsettled by the expanse of their land, the privacy of their individual bedrooms, and the isolation of life a mile from any neighbour. But none of the Bennets could expect what lies waiting in the woods, where secrets run dark and deep. When something begins to call to their family from underneath the earth, beneath the trees and within their minds, Orla realises she's the only one who can save them from a sinister force, if she can find out what it wants before it's too late. I like the review on the front saying the woods will never look the same once you read Wonderland. The haunted wood element, it's creepy. It's creepy. The other book I have, I actually think I put in another bag, so bear with. The last book I am hauling for this video is Dark Matter by Michelle Paver. This one I'm really intrigued by. I have asked for recommendations online, and the one I constantly get recommended is Thin Air by Michelle Paver. I haven't read that yet, but I do have it on my TBR, and I bought it last year because of the same reason. People kept saying it was the scariest book they'd read. Now I'm intrigued by that, because both that and this book are shelved under general fiction in bookshops, not under horror. So I'm interested that is the scariest book that people are recommending. So I'm really intrigued by that one, and as an extension of that, I'm also very intrigued by this one. London 1937. Jack is poor, lonely and desperate to change his life, so when he's offered the chance to join an Arctic expedition, he jumps at it. Spirits are high as the ship leaves Norway, and at last they reach the remote, uninhabited bay where they will camp for the next year. But the Arctic summer is brief. As night returns to claim the land, Jack feels a creeping unease. One by one his companions are forced to leave. Soon Jack will see the last of the sun, the sea will freeze and escape will be impossible. And Jack is not alone. Something walks there in the dark. I don't know why this isn't shelved under horror. It sounds creepy. It's clearly a ghost story. It literally says it on the cover. So this is the last book that I bought for this haul. How many books did I get in total? That was a 9-book horror haul. I have to try and find spaces for these on my shelves, so we're going to do that together in a minute. But first, candles. Okay, candle time. I'm saving the best till last. Just keep that in mind. I got 3 candles. TK Maxx it has the best spooky candles. This one was in the Halloweeny section, I feel like just because it's purple, but it is a lavender scented candle, which is just one of the most relaxing, calming smells. You can't smell it, but oh. Also, I love that purple. Really do. So that was the first candle that I bought. Then I picked up this one, which is called Haunted Harvest, and this is a sand and fog candle. This one's got more of a vanilla-iness to it, I think. I don't actually know what the scent is because it just says Haunted Harvest, which is really helpful. Does it say on the bottom? No. It's kind of vanilla-y, but I really liked the tin on this one. And then the pièce de résistance is the biggie. I was trying to resist this, but 1, it has a ghost on top of it, and 2, the smell, it just takes me somewhere from my childhood. I don't really know where, but it takes me somewhere. Oh my god, again, you can't smell this, but it says it's dark mahogany and warm oak, lifted by herbaceous greens, lavender and a touch of black pepper, and grounded by pure amber. That's so many things. It's called Weeping Willow. It's a DW Home one. Oh my god. But also, what I really appreciate is that the ghost is screwed on, so I can just take the ghost off and use the ghost separately once the candle is done. But I'm so excited. These are going to be burning very, very soon. So that's my little haul. Now I need to work out how to fit these books on my bookshelf so we can all go on that journey together. This is the current horror setup. So I've got most of my horror here, hardback horror here, and then this is kind of witchy books / horror books, and then this is mostly horror but also some thrillery. Well, actually no, it's pretty much mostly horror. So we've got these shelves to play with, and I really don't know how to make this fit. I love the way these shelves look, especially this one. At the moment I really like that, so I don't really know how to make this work, but I have to fit, was it 9 more books onto these shelves? So let's give it a go. Okay, I just need spaces for these remaining 4, and I just don't know where to fit them. I don't want to change this about too much. I think I could possibly fit 1 more book on top of these before this wouldn't fit anymore, but this is all hardbacks. Well, actually, hardbacks and tall paperbacks, and that is now pretty full. Well, I could fit 1 more on there. Maybe if I rejigged. Hang on. Will Uzumaki go up there? I don't know. Hang on, I'm gonna go back to the drawing board. I think this is gonna be too big to go here, but we'll give it a go. Ooh, that just fits. Okay, right, that's freed up a big gap here, so I might move some stuff down from this shelf to this one, possibly. I'd kind of like these 2 to be on this shelf, and maybe these 2 could go down there. Maybe. Okay, 2 left. Right, I know I said I didn't want to do this, but I'm just going to see if this would work. Oh, it's so close. Maybe we could just lie down. I literally just made that work. I switched one of the books here and put a couple more down here and rearranged that a little bit. So it works. This is the finished article. I need to sort out what to do with this, but I will put that over there for now. But this is my updated horror shelves. Yay! Also, look what I found on my shelves in my lounge. It's a Sound of Fog Pumpkin Harvest candle. Clearly got it last year. It's unused. I haven't used it. I have no idea why I haven't used it, but thank you, past me, for giving this gift to future me, or current me. Hello, I've come to wrap up the vlog. I am all cozy ready. Look, I've got my candles lit. I've got Fae Farm ready to stream. I'm going out to a pub quiz later. I'm feeling all the autumnal vibes at the moment, and I had such a fun time filming this video. I feel definitely in the autumn, spooky season, October-y spirit, so I really hope that you've enjoyed watching it. If you would like to see me read at least some of these books in October, then do subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when I post. I will be reading them throughout the year as well, but I love making all the horror-y, spooky themed content I can in October, and just general autumnal cozy content. So there'll be lots of that coming. I have a lot planned and I'm really looking forward to sharing it. I have, as I said, got a readathon happening at the end of the month as well, which is available to all tiers of my Patreon. It is spooky themed, but you don't have to read spooky books, just whatever you fancy. It's just a fun time with a lovely community of people, lots of books to be read, lots of live shows. It's happening for 7 days. Everything you need for that is linked down below. I also have all the information about Your Paper Quest linked down below as well for you to go check out. Thank you so much for watching this video and for coming horror book shopping with me. I had such a good time. I hope you did too. I will see you in the next one.